Hi. At the end of a previous video, I said that I'd ended up in a psychiatric hospital. I had been given 6 months to live if I continued to take alcohol or drugs. And that really wasn't the reason why I wanted to stop drinking. I wanted to stop drinking because I just hated what I had become. I'd hated this thing that looked back at me from the mirror. And because of that, I wanted to stop drinking. I wanted to get rid of the anxiety, the panic attacks, the arrogance, just this person. The problem was I didn't know how to do it. I had no idea how to stop drinking and stay stopped. I mean, I'd stopped many a time. Mark Twain says, he was talking about smoking. He says, stopping smoking's easy. Done it hundreds of times. The problem is not stopping. The problem is staying stopped. And the even bigger problem is staying stopped happily, And I'll talk about these things as, in this series of videos. But first of all, stopping and staying stopped. I went back to Alcoholics Anonymous as soon as I came out of the hospital. A couple of the people who were in hospital being tried out at the same time, they had no intention of stopping drinking. They were just there, get tried out, get healthy again, get out there, get on with the partying. That wasn't for me. It just was not for me. So I went to Alcoholics Anonymous. I went every day for weeks, months. Sometimes I went a couple of times a day. There'd be an afternoon meeting, there'd be an evening meeting. I talked to Alcoholics Anonymous incessantly. Oh, and by the way, I hated it. I hated Alcoholics Anonymous. I didn't like the people. I didn't like the surroundings. I didn't like what they said. I didn't like anything to do with it. I didn't want to be there. I really didn't. I didn't think I fitted. Until one day, somebody said that when they discovered alcohol, they found the bit that God had left out. And I just sat there and went, wow, that's me. Because that's what I always felt. I always felt there was a bit missing from me. There was this spark that was missing, the confidence, it just wasn't there. And also that people always seem to know what to do in social situations, and I never seemed to know what to do in social situations. So I felt that there had been a big book that somebody, all these people had read, and then they had hidden it, and I couldn't see it. So after that, I started to pay attention. I started to listen. I started to read. I started to read the big book. I started to read other things. I found that I was fascinated by Bill Wilson. Bill Wilson being one of the founders of Alcoholics Anonymous. I thought the things that, he said and did were really interesting, and I found it really sad that he had created this movement that had helped so many people get sober, and yet he himself never got some of the benefits of the thing that he had created. And it was rather sad. He was hunting for it all the time, but he never got it. But the program he had left us behind was actually something which was really helpful, really interesting, and for me, life-saving, I think. I also met a couple of people in Alcoholics Anonymous who were not, when I went to Alcoholics Anonymous, I thought it was the elephant's graveyard. And I would go here and I would sit, and I would sort of vegetate, but I just would not pick up a drink. And I was prepared to do that. If that's the way it's got to be, that's the way it's got to be. You get a certain amount of alcohol in your life, you get a certain amount of happiness in your life, and I have just used up both, I'm afraid, and therefore I'll just sit here until I die. And with any luck, it'll be fairly soon. But I met a couple of people in Alcoholics Anonymous who showed me something different. They showed me that there could be excitement, there could be joy. You could enjoy yourself. You could do lots and lots of things that didn't involve alcohol. Now, up till then, there was very little in my life that didn't involve alcohol. But they showed me differently. Yeah. And I started to enjoy myself. And I started to like myself. I started to like what I was doing. I started to like life. I started to like being sober. Yeah. But I had to work at it because it didn't come easy. And the first year, I reckon, was, it was pretty difficult. I avoided pubs, I avoided clubs, I avoided anywhere there was alcohol. Because I was scared. I didn't trust myself. I avoided it like the plague. Yeah. The first time I was invited to a party, I was scared. I was terrified. Yeah. I need to go to this party and there's going to be booze involved. And, oh, what will I do? And then I just listened to a few sort of good pieces of advice, put them into practice and got by. It was fine. I did it. That built a bit of confidence, and then I was coming to the end of, my first year of sobriety. I thought, I'm never going to make this. And the dreams I was having of, drinking, nightmares almost, that I was drinking. And then I got there. And I thought, wow. And certainly in Scotland, they have a tradition of celebrating your first birthday in Alcoholics Anonymous, and what you do is you do what's called the top table, and the top table is, you sit there and you share your strength, hope and experience to everybody, and they all congratulate you on your birthday. And there was some people from a group I had been in previously, and they asked me to come and do my birthday share with them. And I thought, hey, great, I'm such a good influence. And I said, is this because, I've been such a good influence and you want me to share this wonderful story? And these two guys had been sober for quite a long time. And they said, no. What we want to show is that if you can get it, anybody can get it. A wee bit deflating, but it was true. And it's still true. If I can do it, anybody can do it. And I'll share much more about Alcoholics Anonymous in some of the later videos. In the meantime, okay.